Many people believe that after retirement, married life becomes easier and more peaceful. No more work pressure, no more raising kids. It seems two people finally have time together to live out their leisurely days. But what, in reality, is the case? I once met Alan and Sarah, married for over 40 years, living in a quiet California suburb. When Alan retired at 67, they expected this would be their best time. But after just a few months, Sarah began feeling lonely right inside her own home. Conversations grew sparse, intimate gestures vanished. It wasn't because they'd stopped loving each other, but because they hadn't yet learned how to live together again in this entirely new stage of life, their senior years. You see, retirement isn't just the end of a career path. It is also the very start of a new chapter in marriage, where every emotion is heightened and every small distance feels more vast. And if you are not careful, these years that should have been so sweet could instead become the most hollow silence in a relationship. The simple truth is, many couples feel like strangers after retirement, even after living together for decades. Small differences, unspoken expectations, new daily rhythms, all can easily cause the flame of marriage to flicker out if not tended to carefully. But here's the good news. You don't need anything grand to keep that flame burning. No expensive trips or flashy gifts are needed. Sometimes just a tender look, an afternoon walk together, or a sincere word each morning is enough to make two familiar hearts flutter for one another all over again. In today's video, we'll explore 5 simple yet profound ways to preserve and nurture marital love and after retirement. These tips will not only help you live happily with your partner, but also make your golden years more meaningful and memorable than ever before. If you believe that love can grow with the years instead of fading away, then you'll want to stick around for this one, because what you're about to hear aren't just suggestions. They could be the very catalyst that helps you and your partner to truly find each other again at 60, 70, or even 80. Let's dive in. Way 1. Spend quality time together every day. Have you ever noticed when we were young, we were often eager to find time to be together? A date, a phone call, a full weekend, all were precious as gold. But isn't it strange that when we reach retirement, when time is more abundant than ever, we so easily let it slip by without truly being present with each other? Joe and Linda from Oregon once shared a story with me that has really stuck with me. They'd been retired for nearly 5 years. They were in the same house every day, ate at the same table, watched the same TV shows, but for a long time they both felt like they were living parallel lives. No arguments, but no true connection. "We were present, but not together," Joe sighed. The truth is, spending time together isn't just about being there, but being fully present. It means putting your phone down when your partner is talking. It means asking about their feelings during the day, not just what they ate or if they slept well. It means sitting together in silence, but feeling a warmth because you know they are truly there with you. A study from Harvard University shows that a daily emotional connection is the primary factor, helping older couples feel happier and healthier, more so than material conditions or the number of years together. A hand to hold on a walk, a breakfast together without the TV, or even just watering the porch plants together. These can be the glue. They annex you to your partner in the gentlest, most profound way. And most importantly, when you proactively spend quality time with your partner, you're sending a very clear message. You are still my priority, even without work or the kids as our focus. This not only keeps the flame of affection burning steadily, but it also creates a feeling of being cherished, something that every one of us at any age always needs. If you're wondering where to start, just try this one small thing. Choose a specific time each day, even just 15 minutes, to sit together with no devices, doing nothing else, just to talk or be silent together. It could be after dinner, before bed, or while sipping morning tea. It's these seemingly small moments that become the solid foundation for happy later years. Because love doesn't need a lot of time, it just needs true presence. And sometimes you have to be the one to proactively relight that lamp, so you can both illuminate the path you've walked and the days that lie ahead. Way 2. Participate in new activities together. There is an interesting thing many retired couples often overlook. To maintain a strong bond, you don't just reminisce about the past, you also have to create new memories together. Daniel and Carol in Florida are a great example. After retiring, both fell into a monotonous routine, reading the paper, eating lunch, watching TV. Until one day, while on a walk, Carol said, "Honey, maybe we should try painting. We've never really done anything new together." They started a watercolor class at a local community center. Daniel's first painting, just a few clumsy lines, but Carol laughed the whole time. "You painted me terribly, but I had so much fun." Their story touches on something vital. When we do something new together, we open up an entirely different space in our relationship. There's no familiar husband-wife role, no old expectations, just two friends trying something for the very first time. And that miraculously renews a love that felt all too familiar. Science backs this up. Psychological studies show that when the two people experience a new activity together, especially something fun or slightly challenging, your brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter tied to excitement and bonding. Simply put, when you learn to dance, cook a new dish, or even play a new board game, you're basically giving your hearts a reset, a new shared rhythm. A new activity doesn't need to be huge or expensive. It could be joining a gentle yoga class, doing wellness exercises in the park, trying organic gardening, playing Sudoku, or learning a simple language just to order French food at a restaurant. Most importantly is that you both feel like you're learning together. There's a wonderful saying, the ideal partner isn't just the one who weathered storms with you, but the one who is ready to keep exploring the world with you, even when your steps have slowed. And that can absolutely start with a free afternoon this week. If you haven't tried something new with your partner recently, now might be the perfect time. Just pick something simple. Not to excel, not to be perfect, but just to laugh together. Because sometimes a new smile is what keeps an old love alive. Way 3, communicate openly and listen. Perhaps one of the biggest ironies in a long marriage is that the longer we live together, the easier it is to truly stop listening. The words that once made our hearts flutter are, over the years, replaced by reminders, suggestions, and even silence. I'll always remember a group discussion at a senior center in San Jose. A 73-year-old woman named Helen took the mic and said something that quieted the entire room. "I've lived with my husband for 45 years, and what I miss most is how in the early years he used to ask me, 'How do you feel?' Now all he asks is, 'Have you eaten?' Does that picture feel familiar?" Emotional questions slowly vanish, replaced by questions of pure logistics. There is no more curiosity, no more desire to understand, just scripted lines repeated out of habit. But love doesn't survive on habit. It survives on understanding. And understanding comes from listening. We older adults are often great at enduring, but not so great at sharing. We bottle up our sadness. We let go of our dissatisfactions. But the longer the silence, the wider the gap between two people becomes. One day you might suddenly realize you no longer understand what your partner is thinking, wanting, or feeling, even though you eat together every day. Marriage and family experts agree. In our later years, communication becomes the last, most vital bridge to keep two hearts from drifting apart. And the magic is, if just one person takes the initiative to open up the right way, the other will slowly open their heart in return. So what is communicating the right way? It's asking not for an answer, but to truly listen. It's responding not to win an argument, but to maintain the softness between you. It's saying, "You seem a bit tired lately," instead of, "You should rest." It's choosing to sit beside them rather than judging from a distance. A simple secret I learned from a couple married 60 years. Each week, they'd spend 30 minutes to just sit and talk without a specific topic. No plans, no debates, just sharing what they were thinking, feeling, worrying. They called it their listening hour. And they said it saved their marriage multiple times, even when they no longer had the energy to argue anymore. You can start this today. It doesn't need to be long. Just look your partner in the eye and say, I'm listening. Sometimes that one phrase is enough to soften the calluses built up over the years. Because in the end, what keeps people close isn't the grand gestures, but the feeling. Even though I'm getting older, I am still heard and understood. Way 4. Share in healthcare. In our later years, health is no longer a personal matter. It becomes a shared concern, not just out of love, but because that companionship has become an integral part of your love. I once heard a simple but powerful story from the Whites in Seattle. Every morning, he carefully lays out her medication, pill by pill. She, in turn, whenever he gets his blood pressure or diabetes checked, is always the one who prepares the paperwork, schedules the doctor, and never lets him go alone. When I asked, "How long have you two been doing this?" She just smiled. "Ever since we started getting older, we've basically become each other's personal physicians." That answer wasn't fancy, but it's deeply moving. Because caring for each other's health doesn't have to be about big things. Sometimes just noticing your partner's complexion, spotting an unusual sign of fatigue, or gently reminding them to drink water, eat on time, or get a checkup is a profound act of love. Research from the American Geriatric Society shows couples who share the responsibility of monitoring and reminding each other about health, from diet and exercise to medication schedules, have better control over chronic diseases and feel more connected emotionally. Because health, when supported by two pairs of hands, not only improves, it also brings a feeling of being cared for, of being treasured. In reality, older adults often make the common mistake of downplaying their health issues, partly to avoid being a bother, partly to not make their partner worry. But the paradox is, it's that very concealment that creates distance and puts a strain on the relationship. Therefore, sharing health isn't just a medical action. It's a vow of emotional support. We will walk on together, get healthier together, or fight together if anything happens. You can start with simple things. Go for health checkups together instead of on different days. Read food labels at the market and pick an item's good for both. Take a light walk together each morning. Or even just set a goal to laugh more every day to relieve stress. Health isn't just in a pill, but in daily habits and awareness. And you know what? When you take care of your partner's health, you are also nourishing your own heart. Because when someone knows they don't have to face illness or old age alone, that is the best medicine there is. Way 5, maintain romance through small gestures. When we're young, we love with roses, candles, and surprise dates. But when we're retired, love isn't as dazzling as fireworks. It becomes a quiet, smoldering fire, needing only to be kept warm each day with simple gestures. I once met David, 81, at a small park in Sacramento. During our chat, he shared, "I still make coffee for my wife every morning, not because she needs it, but because I want her to know I'm still paying attention." That sentence really struck me, because truth be told, long-term love doesn't just disappear, it just needs a gentle breeze to burn steadily again. And that breeze sometimes is just a small act like that. You know, a touch on the shoulder while they're washing dishes, a handwritten note left on the table, or a sincere compliment, "Here when they try on a new shirt. These are all sparks of romance that don't cost a thing. They just require thoughtfulness. Especially in our later years, those small things are worth so much more because they show that your partner is still the one who can make your heart skip a beat, even if their hair is gray and their steps have slowed. A study from the University of Chicago once showed couples who maintain simple, intimate behaviors like holding hands, a light hug, or saying thank you daily report much higher levels of satisfaction and connection, even well into their 70s. It has nothing to do with money or youthfulness, but everything to do with feeling seen and loved in a tangible way. Many people think that after decades together, you no longer need to say "I love you." But affection, if not expressed, can fade like an old photograph. And sadly, too many people only realize that when it's already too late. So instead of waiting for a special occasion, why not create a small romantic moment tonight? Maybe it's writing a few words on a sticky note. "You had a beautiful smile today." Or even simpler, pull out a chair for your wife, serve your husband his favorite dish, or bring up an old memory that makes you both laugh. That's not being fake. That's making an emotional investment, something every marriage needs a steady supply of, especially in its twilight years. Because love doesn't exist on its own. It needs to be tended, even with just a wildflower picked from the roadside, or a loving look amid the most ordinary things. And when you choose to love your partner every day through these small gestures, that flame will never truly go out. We've just gone through 5 simple yet profound ways to keep the marital flame alive during the golden years. From spending quality time daily, experiencing new things together, opening our hearts to listen more, sharing in healthcare, to preserving romance through small gestures. It sounds simple, but it's these seemingly small things that are the very bricks that silently build a strong foundation of love. Even when time has made our hands tremble, our hair gray, or our memory not as sharp as it once was. Old age doesn't mean the end of emotion. On the contrary, it's the most precious time to slow down and love more deeply. Because after all, love at this stage is no longer a promise for the future, but a conscious choice in the present. It's waking up each morning and seeing they are still there. It's every meal where you don't need to say much because just sitting together feels warm enough. And if you're asking yourself, am I truly doing enough for my partner? Then that is the very first step. Awareness is always the starting point for change. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to choose one thing to start with today. Maybe it's putting a hand on their shoulder and saying, "Thank you for being here." Maybe it's suggesting a walk together after dinner or leaving a little note on the fridge. "You're still just as amazing to me as day one." These things seem small, but they build happy days. And many happy days create a lasting, meaningful marriage, even at 70, 80, or beyond. Thank you for spending your time with me in this video. If you learned something valuable today, I invite you to share in the comments. What is one thing from this list you'd like to try this week? Your story could inspire someone else out there who needs to hear it. And if this content resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you gave this video a thumbs up, subscribed, and hit that notification bell. That way, you won't miss our upcoming videos about living a full and loving life in our later years. I believe that at any age, we still deserve a beautiful love. And sometimes, it just takes one person to start, and that can be enough to reignite the entire journey you have traveled together. I'll see you in the next video.